with the Bureau, and it's going to feel a little odd to not call them up and say, hey, what's going on? So I'm sorry to see you go. I'm delighted that you're getting to spend some time. And first person is Chief Cook.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's good to see some familiar faces. That's the best part about the coffee and cakes. The sad part is you get to see the individual that you're honoring go, but it's nice to see the faces. And there's one commonality amongst all you retirees is that you ever quit smiling. So anyways, just to give you a little brief history of Alan and my relationship is that we've known each other throughout our whole careers, but I had the opportunity in 1994 to be the captain of the hazmat team and go in there with very limited training and so forth. It was the firefighters like Alan and Mark Walkley and Daryl Sheets and some of the other ones that were the quote old timers with hazmat that kind of took me under their wing. So they kind of shaped me and they basically showed me what I could do without messing them up. So, but one of the things about Alan that was amazing is that although I was on A shift out there and he was on B shift, is the attention to detail that he showed when he was a primary driver for both Engine 23 and when we went to Station 41, which is now 7th, is that he's always doing something to better not only equipment, but just a work environment for everybody who's around. And that carried over for the last 6 years in public information. Here you got a guy that probably didn't have any public information experience that steps into that job, and he is truly the face of Portland Fire and Rescue. He's got that air of confidence about him. He comes across as knowledgeable, credibility. He's got, even though we know different, you know, this is what the media sees. That's what's important. But most of all, he's got the trust and credibility and the respect of all the firefighters, and that carries a lot of weight with that position because that is our only contact with the outside world that can either be spun positive or negatively. He's always taken the opportunity to instill that prevention or safety message in every event. He's always kind of be able to spun a negative incident into something positive. And just his energy sometimes makes me really tired. So that part I'm not gonna miss, but I will truly miss him. And if you ever get a cat stuck up against your brick wall of your house, he's the person to call. There's an interesting story. I had every tow truck in Estacada, Eagle Creek trying to pull this thing out, and they couldn't do it, so I gave up and figured, oh geez, I got a pretty expensive planter out in front. And him and Daryl Sheets came out with, what, a couple 2x4s and some cordwood and had it out in about 5 minutes. So he's just a MacGyver of everything he does. And I will truly miss him. But the good news is that we're good enough friends to where I think we'll still keep in touch. So with that, I'd like to introduce Jim Forquet, Portland Firefighters President.
I had the good fortune to work with Alan when I was the training captain out here. I had a great staff of training lieutenants, and Alan was one of the training lieutenants out here. I was one of the go-to people. We did a lot of great work in really hands-on firefighter training that made a difference out on the street. So the position comes open for Alan to go down to the public information office. And I thought back when I started in 1988, a gentleman by the name of Don Mayer was the hairpiece of the face. And I'm thinking, Don moved on, and he truly was the face of the organization. He very professional demeanor. And then along comes Neil Hesacker, and I'm thinking, wow, this is fantastic, what a great guy this is. And I'm thinking, how could anybody step in and fill his shoes? And Alan did just that. He's been out there. The words credibility and the street smarts and the ability to take some of the things that we did with more complicated incidents and present them to the media in a way that gets our message out. He just did a stand-up job for us. So the part for us that I never understand is that we give you all a watch when you retire, and that's one of the things you should never need again. But nonetheless, congratulations, Alan. It's been a pleasure working with you. We're going to miss you.
Before Alan gets a chance to speak, Jamie, you want to come up and say a few words?
No. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I got a lot to say. She is way too cute to be related to me. Thank you, Chief Plum, for letting me actually say something. I plan on saying a lot more tonight, so some of those other stories and some of those photos that should be up there that aren't, or appropriate maybe later, I don't know. My name's Jamie Carter, work for Clackamas Fire, and I served as RPIO for several years, and had the good fortune to be involved. Retired Chief Ed Wilson asked me and Tim Burr and some others to replace, well, be involved in that process to replace Neil Hesacker, which was quite the feat. As Chief Plum mentioned, Alan had big shoes to fill. And Alan has done a fantastic job, despite all the other things I've seen. He's done a great job. But in that role, Alan and I really got to get to be really, really close. And I value that today. He's become one of my best friends. And some of those things that we would talk about, you know, it's great when you're a PIO, and for the news media that's in the room also, they know this. But just when you think you've heard it all, you know, Alan calls me up and goes, "Are you sitting down? Because get a load of this." And we would do that. We would bounce our problems off of each other and find out ways to solve them. But Alan knows that in many cases as a PIO, you need to be the department's reputation manager. And I know that he took that responsibility extremely, extremely well, and he says he's going to do his best. And I think all of you know that he represented you, Portland Fire and Rescue, very, very well. And I'm proud of him and everything he's accomplished. It was great when he was new. I got to take him around to the newsrooms and introduce him to people. And they said, "Oh my God, Jamie has Antonio Banderas with him." And it's true. I told him. So there's many people today that just simply thinks Antonio Banderas works for Portland Fire. I only hate him because he weighs what he weighs now. He weighed that in high school. I said, that's not fair. That's not fair at all. But Alan, I love you. You're a great guy. We're going to miss you. The good thing is that he and I live about 10 minutes from each other. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of him.
I don't even recognize the guy they were talking about. The only way that I can do my job is to have the support of the firefighters, and I want to thank them for the job they did for me. Beyond that, that includes all the firefighters, all the way up to the chief. And the non-sworn people, I don't think the firefighters know what a good job you guys do, and I sure appreciate your support and everything I had to do. I've had a good run, and I'm going to keep it short. So thank you all.